Hello, it's Dr. Barr, and today I'm excited to talk about this topic because it's something that I discuss with my patients on daily basis in the practice when they're coming in to look into how much they can increase their protein intake for muscle gain. So the topic today is fuel for your muscle or muscle fuel. We're decoding the proteins that we take in powders and bars, creatine, and energy drinks. So why does this matter? Actually, it's very important for us because most of the protein powders and bars are very popular for the people that are in the industry of fitness, and it's convenient. So people are just grabbing them now to increase their protein intake. Many contain additives, fillers, and may impact your health. That's the second topic I'm discussing today. Third topic is creatine, and is it a common supplement or not? Do you take it? Is it safe? Is it risky? The third thing is the energy drinks. We're going to discuss that since they're often paired with fitness in football, in Super Bowl, and also for like high performance as like Red Bull. And again, I would like to discuss this because the protein supplements have exploded in the year 2024. It's 22 billion. 2025 is 24 billion. So when an industry explodes like that, there's a lot of money involved, and there's the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? So we need to discuss this further. Common things that we see in these are the additives from the health perspective. I'm worried about artificial sweeteners like sucralose and aspartame. Aspartame has been implicated in cancer, and then also your metabolic effect and your gut health through all these sweeteners. The artificial flavors, they may cause allergic reaction, but also I'm more worried about the natural flavors, that they are made of natural products. However, they are processed through a lot of chemical reactions that they do not disclose. The thickeners, why do we need thickeners in our food to increase the weight and sell you something that's full of thickening? Xanthan gum is one of the common ones that they use, and some of the other ones that we can't even spell them. So these are the common things I would like to discuss and their effect on health. The fillers, there's another thing. Maltodextrin is something that's in almost everything, like in every bar and in proteins. So the problem with maltodextrin is that it actually is a problem with the insulin, and it spikes your blood sugar, and that's probably not good for your metabolic pathways. Soy lecithin is another one, and it's used also to prolong the shelf life, unfortunately, and it's used in so many products. Lecithin doesn't have to be from soy, could be from other products. And there's a big health concern, the long-term use. So if they say from the FDA that it's okay to use it in small amounts, however, if you're using 2 or 3 a day, every day, that's not a small amount anymore. And it's going to affect your gut, your microbiome, your kidney, and your liver. So you should be checked for that. At least don't think that you're eating a health product, since they're advertised as health food. So the quality varies, and especially that a lot of these products have many ingredients. So you want to look for minimum ingredients. The reason I had that topic, and I'm including into this the conversation between me and one of my clients who came in asking about proteins and can he increase his protein intake. That's going to be in my next slide. And he's asking that
Tell me
question.
about protein bars, protein powders, and energy.
Okay, so
So
you
you
want
want
to
to
increase
increase
your
your
protein,
protein,
and that's what
yes.
you're trying
Yes.
to increase your protein.
Yes.
So we have a problem with that because all these are not God's food and they have an issue.
Yeah.
So when we say natural flavor, that's a chemical. It's processed as a chemical. However, FDA approved it as a natural flavor,
Yes.
and that is not good for you. So there's so many chemicals, but they're labeled natural flavor. It's the way
Right.
they process it.
Right.
Protein powders has a lot of fillers, had a lot of also natural flavors if they do that, or artificial flavors. They have binders to make it soft and easy, emulsions,
Yeah.
things to emulsify it. They have a lot of sugar most of the time, so either they're kind of disguising it into different names and underneath that.
Right.
But even if it's organic, you're going to be watching because all the additives that they add in there, it's not made of one product, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Bars, there's a lot of things to glue it together, adhesives, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Again, the amount of sugars most of the time is not good. I would call it more empty calories. It's not going to provide you the right amino acids. So I wouldn't recommend any of these. I want you to, in the morning, try to do a carnivore diet if you can.
Carnivore diet.
We're going to do bone broth as much as you can, like twice a day would be great.
Okay.
that will provide you with proteins. The frozen one will give you like 30 grams of proteins and your collagen, which is great for all your joints. In the morning, you can drink a cup, and then later for lunch or dinner, you can have another cup. The other thing that I like, eat eggs, eat proteins from chicken, grass-fed meat. It doesn't have to be organic. Grass-fed is more important than organic. Because when it's grass-fed, it really ate the right food, and it's not going to create inflammation, maybe 2 or 3 times a week.
Yes.
I'll tell you how to make it healthy, combining it with vegetables. So you're going to eat a pound of vegetables each day if you can. And that's really a challenge because spinach is very light. You're almost, if you're
broccoli
vegetables.
Is light.
Yeah, so you're going to weigh your vegetables if you can. I really want you to do that.
Yeah.
Garbanzos and pulses and beans and lentils, I'm going to consider them a little bit of vegetables if you want.
Yes.
But they're very important because they have high proteins. They're not cash food, so even if they're not organic, you're going to be fine with that.
Right.
And I want you to try to do those in your salads, or you can have them as a dip if you want, or a soup.
Okay.
Now your other proteins, I'm going to tell you this one. Men like chicken because it's easy proteins.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you another one, if you would accept it. It's squid.
Squid?
Squid is the new chicken.
Okay, doctor.
High value, high protein. It's not cash food. Most of it is wild. As long as you can grill it. Yes. As long as you grill it.
Yeah.
Don't bread it.
Don't bread it.
It's not calamari.
Yeah.
The other good fish would be salmon, if you're okay with salmon.
Yeah.
The other stuff that I really like that is very high value, it's not tuna, it's not swordfish or shark meat. It is usually sardines or like anchovies.
Sardines.
So if you can eat that.
Okay.
Small fish is better than big fish.
And the whole fish.
A whole fish is fine.
Yeah.
The reason I'm saying this, it's not like canned tuna that's very high in mercury.
Right.
The wild-caught fish is better than organic fish. The reason is organic fish, again, it's a fish living in a tank, pooping and eating and whatever. It's not. It's almost eating dog food as well. God knows what they're feeding it, right? So I wouldn't do organic food, organic fish. Right?
Okay, wild-caught.
Wild-caught. Your eggs are fine as long as you're mixing them with your vegetables, and I feel you're going to be fine eating one pound of vegetable a day.
Yeah.
So you're carnivore. With some vegetables.
Got it.
Okay?
Awesome.
That is better food for you. That's God's food. Mix and match. Eat in color. Vegetables should be in color. For men, I recommend these vegetables. They're very important. It's cruciferous vegetables.
Yeah.
It's very important to reduce your estrogen. So men, we don't want you to have too much estrogen. If we're on testosterone, we're not going to do an estrozide or do any of those, an estrozole or any of the estrogen blockers. You're going to eat broccoli. Cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, asparagus,
love asparagus,
and cabbage if you eat coleslaw.
I love cabbage.
Comes even in the bag now. You just take it and eat it. One key, if you're going to eat your vegetables as a salad, do not get your ranch and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
You can even just make it at home. Pour some olive oil, lemon, if you want to squeeze some garlic in there, if you want salt and pepper. Lemon, vinegar if you want, and olive, salt and pepper. That's an easy way to make your, salad. And if you want to spice it up, spice it up.
Awesome.
Cayenne pepper is awesome for you. Pepper is good for you. It absorbs your food better.
Okay.
One thing that I want all my guys to be on is turmeric. If you can put turmeric on any of your foods, salad, I don't know if you can do it on the salad. It's curcumin. It's great for anti-inflammation.
Anti-inflammation. Yeah. Fantastic.
Okay.
This is fantastic.
Fruit's not your friend. So if you're gonna
stay away from fruits.
Yeah. So very limited, maybe antioxidants, and your berries are good.
Yeah.
And occasionally your fruit is fine.
So lemon, berries. Okay.
Pomegranate is good for you. Watermelon occasionally, but I would avoid grapes.
Grapes,
bananas, no bananas for the guys.
No bananas.
Yeah, too bad.
Not
too
good.
bad for guys. Yeah.
Too bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
This is great, Doctor.
Yes. Any other questions?
I think that's it. Thank you, my friend.
Hydrate, and then on your powders, I know most of the guys put creatinine in there. That's not good for you.
Yeah.
You're making 1 gram of creatinine a day. Your body will take some creatinine, maybe 2 or 3 grams from your food.
Okay.
So I wouldn't do extra creatinine on that. Yes, I would just have maybe more muscles from your proteins.
Yeah.
And then also, if you're going to add creatinine, if you have to, watch your kidney, hydrate, and maybe 2 or 3 grams, not the 5 grams.
Yeah.
Okay?
Got it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So this was my conversation with my patient. Everybody's customized, but I call it like almost the God's carnivore diet modified with some good veggies. So here are some of the red flags that I was convincing everybody or telling them, please read the label. It's so important because there are so many red flags that you can watch for now in your protein products. So cellophane, whatever, a cellophane potassium, I can't even say it, artificial sweetener is bad for you. Long-term safety is not even tested. The BHA and the BHTs, these are very important because I want you to watch for those. These are hormone disruptors, which means up there you look in that rounded circle, that's a cell. At the cell membrane, the rounded surface, they combine to the receptors. So the blue ones are the disruptors, and they prevent the natural hormones from binding properly, and they just bind very strong. So they stimulate the estrogen. So we're fighting estrogen and we're giving ourselves more estrogen disruptors or hormone disruptors. The other things, hydrogenated oils, these have been shown to cause heart disease, and a lot of people have read about them recently. High fructose corn syrup, I think all of us know that name, but now they're disguising it in different names, even calling, organic corn syrup and stuff like that as if it's healthier now. Heavy metals. This is one thing that is actually in the news quite a bit now because some of these powders are coming from green vegetables, and these vegetables are concentrated and they have trace elements of lead and arsenic. These are on the left, there's this I think it was published and it's all circulating everywhere, Reddit and X now. And you can see even Dr. Mercola's green drink is not good, when you see that very long bar on the side, this means it has very high levels of lead. So watch if you're getting any of those green drinks. And that's a bad contaminant because they have lead. Lecithin, it is a product that's most of the time is synthetic, however, it can come from natural like pork or soy. It's in a lot of the mixes of powdered drinks. You got to be watching this because it causes a lot of problems for your gut and it's not healthy for your intestine at all. Okay, so common side effects, it will cause nausea, diarrhea, stomach pain, fullness, bloating. But the biggest thing is that you've been on it for a while. You don't realize you're developing an allergic reaction. You've been on it maybe for a year, and one day you're starting having an allergic reaction and you don't know why, and you do not put one on one and say, oh, it's the lecithin, right? So sugars are on the label are misleading. Sometimes they're unsweetened. I'm just going to warn you about this because if they say unsweetened or sugar-free, it can have less than 1 gram of sugar. That doesn't mean it doesn't have sugar at all. So watch for the labels. Sugar, alcohols, these are nasty. So they are reducing the calories just to tell you if it's 100 calorie only. But these sugar alcohols are synthetic most of the time. They're made of sometimes natural sugars or carbs, but a lot of the times they're not. The source is vegetables, fruits, but synthetic ones are very common. And what do they call? It's an alcohol. Cause as an alcohol. They are really bad for your intestine as well. So they're not very healthy. They just make the taste good and unfortunately a lot of side effects. So diarrhea, abdominal pain, problems with the intestine, diarrhea is a big one, but you might not have that. You just have that bloating and discomfort. However, this sugar is actually slowly digested, and this means like the bacteria overgrow in your gut and causes fermentation, so you might be a little bit gassy and slows your digestion and absorption of good stuff. So I would highly caution against those sugar alcohols. Read the label. I have not yet. I've looked into so many labels to find one of them that is like additive free. So you got to lead there where the arrow is at the bottom. You can read all the other stuff up there. 20 grams of protein, 100 calories, as if like that's going to fool you. But I need you to read the bottom part. This on the bottom has natural flavors, artificial flavors. They have additives, and they have also so many things that you don't want to have, the gum and all that. Now the bars, the same story. You have the maltodextrin, which is the syrup. It's a bad sugar. Again, the polydextrose, another sugar, artificial flavors, natural flavor, sucralose, another sugar, and then sunflower lecithin in a bar. And you're thinking you're eating a healthy snack. Erythritol is really bad because it has been, and it's in so many of the products now. It's the new sugar that is affecting the circulation, the cardiovascular. It can cause blood clots. So you be very careful, and strokes. So be careful with that. Adhesive, do we really need glue in our food? Yes, they put those so to stick the bar together, whatever. Safety, I don't think it's really approved by any of the European standards. So our FDA said it's fine in small quantities. Unfortunately, it's not good. Again, for the gut, it calls SIBO, inflammatory bowel disease. So inflammation of your bowel, sorry. And then you can look for guar gum, xanthan gum is very common, acacia gum, and these are all in all your bars, and the seed oils and other one that I worry about, the omega-6. So you need to read the label for omega-6 fatty acids potential concerns. Again, these are not good for your gut and your cardiovascular system. Health bars and seed oils are always there. Read the label, please, and then avoid maltodextrin. This is in everything now. Every time I read the label, it has maltodextrin. It's so sad, and it's not good for your health. There's so many studies now showing that. So it increases the shelf life. So that's why they want to add it, and it's a thickener kind of thing. So you thicken the product, and it's easy to mix the shake or whatever. But I think it's in so many products now. You got to be reading the label. Now I'm going to mention really quick creatine, because everybody wants to take creatine because it's increases your ATP in the muscles. So if you're wanting to exercise and get more energy, in that little diagram it shows you, like, you take the ADP, you do ATP, which is your caloric kind of energy. And unfortunately, creatine is a byproduct. It's a waste product that our kidney gets rid of. So your body makes about 1 gram, as I said before. You eat about 2 grams. So don't take those 5 grams unless if your kidney is okay and you're able to take that load. You make sure you are taking the creatine monohydrate and you're hydrating so much before you exercise. Otherwise, you can cause trouble if you're at an older age and your kidneys might be like a little bit taxed and you didn't have checked your levels with me or with your doctor, then you really want to be careful if you take creatine. So it's very important. I know it really helps a lot of people with their energy, but again, for muscle building. So I'll discuss here real quick the pros. It increases the muscle mass, the strength, the exercise performance, improves recovery, endurance. So some of the people just even say that it improves their support, the brain health. I can remember that golfer who said, I blame my winnings to somebody who gave me 20 grams of creatine, and that's why I won my golf tournament. I think that's kind of ridiculous, because again, reckless to give recommended for everybody, and everybody thinks that's great for the brain. The cons are water retention. You got to be making sure that you're hydrated, otherwise you're hurting your kidneys. Digestive issue in high doses, and then also it's not for everybody, so you need to be checked. If you're young, your kidney is fine, your liver is fine, maybe it's okay. Recommend it in the right dose. Okay, so the concerns: kidney, liver, to sum this up, and overuse is not good. Interaction with, if you're having a sore muscle and you're taking like NSAIDs, which is like Motrin or something like that, you do not want to mix those together. So that's a little note I want to put in there so you're aware of it. However, you should avoid this if you're, of course, pregnant. Kids should not take it. And if you have any kidney issues, definitely do not use it. Last thing, I'm going to brush real quick on sports drinks, because they've been advertised in football games, and that it's a great thing. You need to take it because you're dehydrating. I don't think people should be on it all the time. And look at that. Here it says 32 ounces of Gatorade in bold, contains 14 teaspoons of sugar. That is nuts. Why would I take 14 spoons of sugar? But look at that. It's blue. That's a dye. There's dextrose, the citric acid, all these like artificial stuff, sodium citrate, monophosphate. All these are not natural ingredients. Glycerol, esters. Oh my God, it's so crazy. Blue one, which is dye. So again, these can cause so many problems. They've been approved by the FDA. That doesn't care. Anyway, I don't think I need to look at something that says FDA approved. They're not on our side most of the time. So they're bought and sold by these industries that make billions of dollars. I would totally kind of vote against those sport drinks. Energy drinks, another problem, that if you are taking too much energy drinks, huge business. You'll see that the amount of money that's sold with the Red Bull, and they advertise it for all these like extreme sports, and they're there in your face. They have between 80 to 300 milligrams of caffeine per serving. That's crazy. So you get all these jitters. Taurine, another additive, supposedly for energy metabolism. The sugar and the sweeteners is high. Vitamin B, if extra, you're excreted, not a big deal. But the concern is overconsumption. You get heart problems, anxiety, sleep issues. I get somebody in my office saying I can't sleep, and he's taking like 2-3 Red Bulls. It's like, okay, even if it's in the morning, you're not able to get rid of it by the end of the day. So that was solved mystery. So if you have to, I need you to do this. Look for minimal ingredients, no artificial sweeteners and no fillers. Please try that. Choose third-party testing. That's very important. That will at least eliminate the heavy metals and the toxins, the arsenic, the lead. Consider whole food protein. I was advising my patient to try to eat first his eggs, his chicken, his lean meat, his red meat, grass-fed. He takes his bone broth, and he supplement with some of the beans, the lentils. And that's important. And try to get the fish that is healthy for you. I would say that's a great thing. Creatinine, if you really need to take it, you need to stick to that monohydrate, and also make sure you're hydrating very well before you exercise if you're taking it before you go to the gym. Energy drinks, I'm not really recommending them. So at the end, my conversation with my man in the video here, I advised my patient that, okay, high quality proteins is important. You can get your 1.6 to 2.7 grams per kilo of your protein to build up your muscle from a carnivore diet. I modify my carnivore diet, but I think there is also benefit because it will increase the testosterone. There is support for testosterone metabolism. It's an anti-inflammatory if you're not taking sugars. But guess what? If you're eating all these bars and protein shakes, you're not doing anything with the carnivore diet there. So you got to be watching that because you have all these artificial sugars that count. So it's not an anti-inflammatory anymore. And it's simple because if I tell somebody do carnivore, they know what to eat. And I say just mix it with a few vegetables that I add in there, which they're cruciferous vegetables, not the roots. So I wouldn't say carrots and potatoes and yams, but you can take beans and lentils, avocados, green cruciferous vegetables. It's great. The other thing that sometimes I recommend for my patients is like the Mediterranean diet. So Mediterranean diet, it's one of the blue zones area. People live longer in these zones. They're pretty healthy, pretty lean. They walk a lot. They drink and eat God's food. So even the wine is very, minimum there. They might have one glass of wine with meals, but they are eating mostly unprocessed. Meat is very important because you don't want to have also processed meat, right? The other thing is that they're having a lot of lamb, fish, seafood is very common. They take some grains and nuts, and they have some fruits with olive oil. So these are their typical things. They have some dairy in their food. I think that might be a modified carnivore diet anyway. And thank you so much for tuning in. I would like you please to join us in this discussion and let me know what you think about the best diet for you to build your protein. I appreciate your time, and here is
okay, so keep it up.
Keep it up.
Yep, no pun intended.
Thank you. Thank you for joining. Hi, Adam.